What's going on, guys? My name is Fatty. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do another install video. I got my gauges in, so I'm going to be installing my gauges. I got the Defi boost gauge and oil pressure, and I also got the JCS pods, which goes onto the A pillars. Alright, so let's get started. Here's the gauge pod. It is the JCS pods dual A pillar pod, and then this is the Defi boost gauge. We'll just try to fit it in and see how well it fits. A little tight, but I was managed to get it in there. This is the oil pressure. Here's the sensor. Yeah, so this is pretty much it. Alright, so this is the interior of my car. So this is where my radar detector is at. As you guys can see, I already wired it into a hard wire. It is currently tapped into my fuse right there. So I'm going to be using that as my source of power. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this speaker cover first for the tweeters, and then pull this right here off, so this weather strip, and then pretty much pop out this A pillar. There's going to be one clip right here, and there's going to be another clip right here. This part's easy, but this part you would have to use your hand, squeeze into it, and then twist the tab off. So hopefully that'll be easy to come out. Alright, so I have the tool. Just pretty much use this, dig underneath, and it should pop right out. There you go. Once you pop it up, just use your hand. Just use your hand, and this piece should come right off. There we go. Alright, so then in order for it to pull the weather strip, all you gotta do is pull right here, and as it slowly comes off. So you just want to get that away from the A pillar. But you can go as far as down here. So just let it hang and see how it exposes the other side of the A pillar. Alright, so for this part, all you gotta do is just grab the side right here and just pull it out. So just pop that out of the clips. And this is what I'm talking about right here. So if you guys can see, there's a green clip right here that's like a hook that grabs onto the clip. So in order for us to get it out, we gotta, there you go, if you guys can see it right there. In order for us to get it out, all you gotta do is reach around it from the top and then try to twist it. So let me see if I can try to twist that out. Alright, I think I might need two hands, so I'll be right back, guys. So there you go. So this thing right here is twistable, so if you guys can see. And then once you twist it to a certain level, this will actually just come off right here. So you just gotta twist it sideways, and then it'll align with this, and then you just pull it out. So we're just gonna be able to just pull this out now. And there's the A pillar. Alright, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this panel out, and then we're gonna loosen up the bolt right here so we can take this piece out, or it's gonna hang, so that way we can get that ready for it to wire it up later. So first off, we're just gonna pry it in there. It should pop right out. As you can see, this is where my hard wire from my radar detector is going, all the way down here, and including my GPS sensor. So there's a screw right here. So all you gotta do is unscrew that, and this whole piece will just flop out. Alright, so just grab a screwdriver. You can just pull this out. I don't think you really need it. And then this piece just pops out, see? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out my access port. Yeah, There you go. Alright, so there you go. See, it just hangs. So now you have access to your wiring. It's a lot easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap into this right here. I'm gonna tap into this red wire. Then I'm gonna ground it right there. As you guys can see, I'm gonna tap into that as well. And that's gonna be my ground. And yeah, pretty much it. So I'm gonna start with the routing of the wires. For my next step is I jacked up the car because I was planning to run the wires through my fenders all the way up into the engine bay. In order for me to get to that part, my car is lowered on coilovers, so in order for me to get some space I had to jack up the car, so I use a stock jack. And it's pretty much this fender liner right here had 3 clips, one right there inside. There's another one right inside here. There's one up here, and there's 2 over here. And so I was able to pull this down so that way I have enough room so I can see what I'm looking at. And then on top of the engine, just gotta remove this cover right here to access it. There's only 2 clips I was holding it, one right there and then another right here. So you can just lift it out once it's done. It just comes right off. Alright, so from there, as you guys can see, you guys can run the wires underneath here all the way down, and then to this, and then you can run the wires all the way up to the engine bay. So I'm going to try to get the wires through the firewall outside to the fenders, and I'll be right back. So I was able to run this wire right here. So it went underneath here, around behind the fender liners, or underneath the fender liners. Let's go back over here. As you guys can see, here's the wire. It's going to be tucked underneath this weather strip. So it goes all the way, and then I was able to, if you can see it, that's where the grommet is. And then I just used a screwdriver to poke it right through, and then I taped the wire onto the screwdriver and then ran it through the fender wall. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but here's the actual wire from the inside of the cabin. And if you, let me see if I can get a good picture of it. It's pretty much right there. I know it's kind of hard to see it, but you see all those wires? They're going through the grommet. So if you push it right through, it should come out the other side. Same concept, but now with the oil pressure wire. Second wire is in, so it's right there going in here. So here's the line for the oil pressure. Here's the line for the boost gauge. The hardest part is taking off the alternator. I don't know if that's going to be that hard, but I'm going to tap it into the boost line or the boost gauge. I'm going to tap it into this bypass valve right here, this hose, and then the oil pressure sensor. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's underneath the alternator, and it's right there. Alternator belt cover is removed, and I'm going to start doing my oil pressure first, and actually remove my bypass valve hose to get started. So there's 2 locations. There's one behind the motor, which is underneath the top mount, which is more of a work to get out. And then the other location is in the front, underneath the alternator. To remove the alternator is, there's 2 bolts, one holding the belt in place and the belt tensioner. So remove this bolt, loosen up this bolt, and the belt should come out off. So pull the belt from the pulley, and then there's only one bolt right here, as you guys can see right here. Take that out. This piece would actually be loose, so make sure you don't drop this piece right here, this bracket. So once you lose this bolt, this bracket will be loose, so hold on to this, pull it right off, and you should be able to lift the alternator out from its place. Just make sure to watch out for these lines. I'm not going to remove these lines, I'm just going to leave it on there. So I'm just going to be able to remove the alternator out in place, and then we'll go from there. So just remove this bolt, and then loosen up this bolt, and then the alternator should be able to be flexed and moved around. Came into a little snag. So the oil pressure sensor, or oil pressure sending unit for the OEM, is a 24mm sensor, and I went out and I didn't have the actual socket, so I got this standard size one, and it doesn't fit because the there's a prong that goes on top, so I had to go out and buy another one, which is the deep socket 24mm, and so this one is definitely going to work. But then the only problem is that they only have the 1/2" drive, which I don't have the extension for it, so I bought the adapter for it. I don't think I have an adapter for it as well, so hopefully this is going to be enough. Figured out that, you know, you can actually just tilt it upwards, use this socket, and then slide it in between, and you can actually reach it all the way inside. So I'm just gonna do that instead of having to remove this whole piece. All right. So all I gotta do is just break loose the stupid sending unit. And here's this pain in the ass sensor. This right here is what's causing it to hit. So once you guys take out the sending unit, the OEM sending unit, you can just take the aftermarket one and just thread it right into it. The Defi one, the Defi is the same standard size threading as the OEM Subaru, so you don't have to get an adapter. You can just screw this right in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw that in there. Just gonna... So we put back the alternator, the sending units in there. So here's the aftermarket one. That's gonna be routed outside somewhere. Now I just gotta hook up the boost. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this one and I'm gonna T-splice it into here. I'm not gonna cut it because this already has a good curve. I don't wanna figure out a way to reroute it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use that and I'll get back to it. Everything in the engine bay is pretty much all done. The Defi oil sending unit is in, the alternator is back in. I T-spliced my bypass valve, which is right here, as you guys can see, and I used the factory still. I'm gonna zip tie this later. And then the wires is running down here underneath and around back up. And then this is where I mount my sending unit for the boost gauge, and I pretty much just bolted on right to the battery tie down. I just got done with the wiring, and it looks like a mess right now. So what I did is I have the hard wire for my radar detector that goes into the radio amp. So if you can see, I did a tap a fuse, so that's gonna be my power source. So I tapped that into one red wire, and then I daisy chained the red and orange wire into that wire, so it'll be constantly on. And I know it's gonna do a double sweep because I only have one on, or one wire, but I'm fine with that. And then I just pretty much ground it. So the blue wire right there is what I daisy chain the other wires to, into the ground wire, which is up here. So I just T-splice it right there, if you guys can see. So I just T-slice the ground wire as well, and then the 12 volt. So I just plugged in my gate, and now I'm gonna turn it on to see if it works. So let's see if it does. Alright, moment of truth. Yeah, lit up. So here you go, there's the boost. And here's the oil pressure. So I'm gonna turn it on to see how it works. Hopefully there's no leaks. So see, it just did a double sweep. Okay, boost is looking good. Let me rev it. Okay, oil pressure is at 90 psi. Rev, it goes up. It looks good so far. So as you can see, the oil pressure looking good, no leaks. So there you have it. I pretty much, everything's installed, everything is working. Now I just gotta put it together. And it's been a long day, see. And now is nighttime, so it's like getting really dark here. So I'm gonna put everything back together and I'm gonna show you guys the final product. So hopefully you guys learn from this. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm gonna put everything back together. All right, everything is back. There's a T-Splice. There's a double sweep, see? Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment below and let me know what you guys have. I'll try my best to answer your guys' questions. Until then, thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time. Peace out.